Ross Martin is the college editor, content direction for 24/7 Sports, an Inside Carolina alum, also Big Hitters Only podcast. All right, we're going to get to a lot of things here. I'm going to play a little game first before we get to the basketball game last night. I want you to rate the crises for me at Carolina on the Scoville scale. From a bell pepper, which is a 0, to the Carolina Reaper as a 10, rate the UNC hoops crisis right now. I'll help you with the Scoville scale. If you give me a number, I'll give you a pepper.
I'll just do the peppers. I pulled them up right here.
All right. I appreciate you playing along.
Like a cayenne or like a cayenne or a habanero, it can be tasty when cooked and used properly, but not crazy hot, but certainly not a jalapeno or a poblano or something mild. I mean,
okay.
Fans are not happy.
So we're basically, for a habanero, we're talking like a 5.5 to a 6.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, fans aren't happy. And I think the fan reaction that you see, I spend a lot of time on message boards, whether that's a good thing or not. But I don't know if the fan reaction on message boards is an accurate representation of what really is going on with the athletic department. But these losses, are stacking up now. After stacking up a bunch of wins and things kind of looking like they had turned around. It was a little bit of fool's gold, as I like to say. But, losing to Stanford at home as a 12-point favorite. And then, kind of just looking, I thought very uninspired last night against Wake Forest. I was in the building, second half, no free throws attempted, just couldn't make shots either. A lot of them not making shots. And I don't know if that's fault. Does that really fall on Hubert? I mean, I guess he recruits players. We're just missing so many open threes. They shot like 22% from three.
Yeah.
Just not making the shots they should be making when they have such a stacked backcourt. When you have such a stacked backcourt, you've got to make threes because you're small. You've got to shoot from the outside. You got to nail threes. But they just looked uninspired, and the post game was so sad with Hubert. It just doesn't seem like he has answers.
Well, isn't that personnel? I mean, Jalen Washington obviously hasn't developed into the player they wanted, and the other players they brought in through the portal are basically just role players and more support bench guys. And I am curious what your thoughts on this are, because R.J. Davis isn't even close to what we've seen over the past several years. Clutch player, big shot maker, all of that. But all of that happened when Armando Bacot was here, which provided a lot of interior cover. So there was a threat of, we just dump it down to Bacot, and he'll get a bucket or get to the free throw line. That's gone. So I wonder how much of Davis's lack of production, his shooting inaccuracy, is about that.
Yeah, I mean, this season will go down as not be able to land a big man in the transfer portal or a dynamic, stretch four who can shoot it. They're really missing a Brady Manning type and an Armando Bacot type. They're really missing the gravity that a dominant big man provides, and that most UNC teams in the past have had. I mean, Hubert's had Armando Bacot every year, except this year, and you're kind of seeing the result of that. And so, they're missing someone who can draw a double team, and then they can get a lot more open threes. I think R.J. Davis is, he's having to share kind of the role with Cadeau, who's become obviously the more dominant ball handler, and then Ian Jackson's emergence. They're kind of splitting the way. So RJ doesn't have as many opportunities, and he's off. He's not hitting those threes he hit last year. So he's still kind of slicing and dicing in transition, but he's in a kind of a huge. The numbers don't really indicate it, but he's in a huge slump. He's not making the shots he used to make. So I mean, there's a lot of issues. It's the missing a big man is huge. We talk about it all the time. Missing a big man and then missing a dynamic, forward, a 6'9" shooter. They thought that was going to be Kay Tyson. I mean, he's been a huge bust. So you miss in the portal a couple ways, and you actually miss on even getting a big man, and this is the result you're going to have, a 12 and 18 that doesn't look very good at all right now.
Ross Martin is joining us here, 24/7 Sports, Big Hitters Only podcast. Is there any additional pressure on Hubert? And I know that it is from the fan base, but I'm curious as to what your contacts within the university or the university community, because John Shire up the road is crushing recruiting. They killed it in the portal again, and it does look like they have a team that is poised for a deep tournament run. Does that impact Carolina's situation in any, Hubert's situation in any?
Comparing it to Duke?
Just because up the road it looks like it's just on an upward trajectory, and Carolina at best has kind of gone up and down.
Yeah, I mean, I think the programs right now are going in opposite directions. I think Duke always recruits better for some reason in the last 15 years, last 10 years. It's kind of this one and done model that Coach K would. But yeah, I mean, it is kind of bleak right now, and I think a lot of fans are kind of worried about NIL and definitely recruiting and definitely transfer recruiting. There's talk about needing a general manager to kind of get that going. I think there's a lot of talk about the staff too. It's all UNC people. I'm not sure anyone's worried about their job security. I don't know if anybody on UNC staff is fighting for their job and working their ass off to get things done. I mean, it's all people that play at Carolina, love Carolina stuff. I think if Hubert stays, I think they need to do switch up the staff a little bit and make some moves that can bring new ideas and new ways of doing things to the staff and to Carolina basketball. I think there's a lot of issues. I think you can look at leaning on the Carolina way and how that just doesn't work anymore. And players aren't committing to Carolina because of Carolina and the impact of, I don't think Michael Jordan has as much impact on players now as it did 20 years ago. And so it's a revolutionary time for college basketball, and UNC needs to kind of make that step into the future. Those are the macro problems with UNC basketball. But they still, there was a bit there where it looked like they'd turned the corner, but 2 losses now in a row, and it looks like they're kind of reverted back to what they were in the non-conference.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, I'm not sure the league's any good. Like Wake came in, and Wake might be good, right? I'm not discounting the fact that Wake could be very good, and we'll find out just how good, I guess, to a certain extent when Duke pays a visit on Saturday to the Joel. But I mean, Wake had won 5 in a row, and 4 of those wins in the league, and 4 of those wins were against teams outside the top 100 in the net rating. So it's the league, unfortunately, for whatever reason, I've had these discussions before, just isn't very good. Let me go back to the Scoville scale for our second and final topic. Bill Belichick's unsigned contract and the NFL media swirl around it. On the Scoville scale, Bell to Carolina Reaper, where is it?
I think he's staying in Carolina. I don't think there's much concern. Whatever's right above a bell pepper, the next mild pepper.
An Anaheim.
Yeah. You see Lombardi on Twitter. Lombardi's like Belichick. Obviously the general manager of UNC. He's like Belichick's mouthpiece on Twitter. So anytime any news comes out, right, about the NFL or jobs or unsigned contracts, Lombardi is on every single show and on Twitter saying they're here to stay. You see his 24-year-old girlfriend posting on Instagram saying they're the most committed couple at Carolina or something like that, which is funny. I know you're a big follower of Belichick's girlfriend on Instagram.
I'm not, but maybe I should. I don't know. I feel dirty. Thinking about it.
When you cover this team, you got to cover all aspects of the team. So
I get
that includes the girlfriend.
I totally get it.
It's interesting to follow, man. Every day or so, another coach is hired, and they're landing recruits out of California and getting all these transfers from Washington. So I don't know. It's kind of and there's no releases from the university. They're not announcing these hires. There's no information coming from universities. Just everything is being operated under cloak and dagger for UNC football right now. I don't know if that's the way it's going to be, but there's been no announcement of any hires. So it's just very funny how it's very different from every normal new coaching regime.
One more quick thing, Ross, before I say goodbye, because I've been talking about this for I don't know, month and a half. The way I look at it, this is a marriage of convenience to me. The university using Bill Belichick and his coaching reputation and his plan to maybe reset what UNC football is. And maybe this is the wave of the future across the entire landscape of college football. I see this as purely transactional. I don't think Bill's got any great love for the university. I don't think the university has any great love for Bill. But I think they both see an opportunity to like an experiment. If the experiment works, this is going to be awesome. If it doesn't work, I think there's going to be a lot of people losing their jobs.
I think Bill sees this as a challenge too.
Yeah.
Like, he's done the NFL stuff, dominated on that level. Coaching Carolina football is a challenge. Trying to get
yes.
Carolina to to an AC championship game or potentially college football playoff game is a unique challenge. And the way college football works now, there's a lot of unique, interesting ways that you can operate, and so I think it's kind of a fun challenge for him. And for on the UNC side, why not? Why not try it with Bill Belichick? You go that route. You hire some group of five coach and roll the dice with that.
Oh, no, this is much better. Yeah. This is much better, much more interesting. Michael Lombardi and Bill Belichick are on Pat McAfee every week. I'm on board. This will be the topic in college football nationally all year long, whether they're good or not. It will be for the next 12 months in college football. We're going to be talking about UNC football, and that's awesome.
Yeah, look at it. January, 20?
I don't know.
22nd. January 22nd. We're talking about Bill Belichick instead of Hubert Davis's 12-8 Tar Heels on a 9 p.m. game in Winston-Salem. So that's something. And it's funny. Just the last season, the UNC schedule was so easy, and this season for football, and this season the ACC schedule for basketball is so easy, and UNC is struggling both ways. There's some parallels in those two seasons. Kind of a miserable time to be a UNC fan, just struggling on both sides, both sports. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in basketball after this season, depending on how this season goes, and certainly interesting to track the way football is going too. So no shortage of drama, good or bad, for the Tar Heels.
Very true. By the way, UNC a very slight favorite, I believe, over TCU in week 1 of the college football season. Ross Martin at Ross Martin NC on Twitter. Big Hitters Only podcast. I thank you very much, my man. I'll talk to you very soon.
Appreciate it, Adam.